I'm just speaking for me, if I was white, right? If you're going to make white people responsible for our outcomes or lack of outcomes, if I'm responsible for something, then I'm gonna control it. Like I'm gonna be in charge of
Mm.
it. If you're gonna make me in charge of
Oh
your lack of
no.
outcomes, then you can't be self-governing no more. I got to be in charge of you because I got to make sure that you're
Oh.
doing what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're going to play the victim game all the time and you're going to blame someone else for your lack of success, then you have basically handed yourself over to them and says that you are no longer allowed to self-govern yourself because you can't be trusted to do what you need to do.
Social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
And just like that, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know, we're going to be talking about a very spicy topic on this evening. And I'm looking forward to doing it today. But guess what? I'm not going to be doing this by myself. I got a good friend of the channel who's going to be stopping by on this evening. He, on a spur, jumped in and said he would gladly talk about this topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Kevin Briggins from Off Code Podcast. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, man, no problem at all. Thank you for being gracious to come on and talk with me on today. Because you know what, Kevin?
What's that?
I'm tired, man.
Tired, boss. I'm tired.
I got fatigue, Kevin. We're going to be talking about black fatigue. This is a new term, man, that has come up, man. Before we get into it too far, because I have a fantastic clip that we're going to be using to kind of spread it out. Do you want to give us like a lay of the land about what your understanding of black fatigue is?
Yeah, black fatigue, from my understanding, is the people are tired of degenerate black culture, and people are tired of the, I guess, the lack of accountability, I'll say, within the black culture for the issues that everyone sees with their own eyes, right?
Gotcha.
And people are just tired of, and I say people, I'm going to say, I think white people in general, but black people too, but white people in general are tired of being blamed for what they see within black culture. So,
Okay, let me play the advocate then. Let me play the advocate. But Kevin, everybody doing that stuff. Everybody has a level of degeneracy in their culture.
and see, that's what we're talking about, lack of accountability, because everybody loves the, oh, but what about?
Okay.
Like, no,
what aboutism? Yeah.
No, everyone knows, because even black people like you and I, which is the majority of black people aren't from what we call the degenerate black culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even we don't live in those communities anymore. Even we don't go to those communities anymore. And why? Because we know it's degenerate. But yet we get in the public face and we stay on code and we don't say anything. Or, George Floyd becomes this poster child for black oppression. And like, we make these people, like, black culture is the only culture that takes the bottom of its culture and makes it the poster child. When you look at hip hop, when you look at entertainers, when you look at the images that portray what black culture is, it's taken from this sub street culture, right? And that gets to be the poster child for what it means to be black. And so when we see that, when the outside world sees that, and that is the picture that's painted for black culture, and then you see all these videos of the fighting in the airport and all of this other craziness, that gets to be representative of us. And everybody's tired of it. Everybody's tired of it. And there's no more excuses. I don't want to hear anything about, Jim Crow and slavery. And like, no.
They love Jim Crow. I love Jim.
Like, redlining did not do this to us.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Okay. No. Okay. So, because you and I are relatively about the same age.
I don't know. Wait. I look older, but I just turned 44.
Holy spicy guacamole. Oh, man. Let me get some Beijing in my beard, man. I'm gonna make you my elder. Okay, well, we're raised around the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've mentioned on the show before that I think peak Black entertainment was the end of the Cosby era, because it put out in the forefront a different standard for Black community. And I hate to say it, but a lot of us went to college and did other things because of the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Different world. Let me just tell the truth. I know I went to Morehouse because of the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
So, but after that, after the Cosby Show closed the doors and after they turned off the lights on A Different World, I don't think we've ever been able to replicate that type of picture of the highly melanated community.
No.
Strive better after that.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause I'm thinking about, because you had the Cosby Show. I'm thinking about early '90s stuff, like the TGIF stuff. You had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You had Family Matters. Steve Urkel. You had these shows that were showing, intact families that had achieved, that had done something. Uncle Phil was a lawyer. Carl Winslow was a police officer. Married, strong family, and then we kind of transitioned to Martin. Living single,
girlfriends.
Yep. It started to change, right? Yeah. And so what came to be portrayed as Black culture over time is shifted.
I got you. I put together a montage of TikToks discussing the term Black fatigue. This video will probably be very helpful if you want it. Maybe I'll put it up on my channel. Feel free if you want me to stop, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
I might be late to the party, but I just heard a term called Black fatigue. It's trending. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Black fatigue is growing in this country. The only people pushing racism and racial division in America is Black people. Black people use race as a weapon to get what they want. We use our race to get jobs. We use our race to get out of trouble. We use our race to justify the worst actions coming from our community. We defend cop killers and we defend people who murder people in cold blood. This kind of rhetoric is making people tired of Black people, irritated and frustrated at the fact that there is no accountability with Black people at all. I'm tired of having the worst of the worst be the representation of the rest of the community. I'm tired of our culture, which is disgusting and destructive, being the greatest thing that we champion, put on a pedestal, and we defend endlessly. Racism in America stops with Black people. Crime in this country goes down when Black people take accountability and police their own. Black people don't need to do better. We need to fight back against these people and start aiming for greater.
I mean, I think it's spot on. I know we're going to kind of get into it, but the reason this conversation is really important to me and why I said I was thinking about doing a live stream on it is because I've been in Twitter battling with people that we would probably classify as racist or borderline racist. And
oh yeah, for sure.
And what I found is it's kind of like what that Black guy was saying. They're tired of seeing these things. And they're just saying, you know what? We're not seeing this stuff from anyone else but the Black people. Every neighborhood that is majority Black is a mess, right? And they're saying these things. And what I'm trying to do, and I think is one of the reasons we need to talk about this, I'm trying to get those people to understand that what they're seeing and what they're being shown is not representative of the vast majority of Black people in America.
Say that louder. Right? Say that louder, please.
It is not representative of the vast majority of Black people in America.
It's the noisy minority. As somebody told me. Noisy, bombastic. Again, the vast majority of people that we know don't fall in that category.
Most Black people today do not hold to that culture. Some of us are still, I would say, complicit because we still promote some of that stuff. You know, we listen to the music, we follow those artists, we do all of this type of stuff. And so some of us are still complicit in pushing that culture, even if we don't live it ourselves.
Facts. Right? We call it code switching. For example, if you speak clearly and you're articulate, you have a decent profession and whatnot. But then when you go to your family reunion, you code switch and you behave in a certain way. They don't elevate themselves to behave in a better way. No, you lower yourself to behave in a lesser way. And we've adjusted to that for decades. dare I say millennia. We've adjusted to that, but we've allowed it to be the case. And I think, Kevin, you said that we're complicit. I dare say that we are just as culpable because we don't hold ourselves accountable. So we'll just ignore and pretend like Cardi B makes sense. We'll just say, oh yeah, twerking in the middle of an intersection, getting run over by somebody and getting murdered. We don't say that the problem is, why was that baby outside twerking outside of a car in a dark road and got ran over? Why are we not upset about that as a highly melanated?
That's
Go
what
ahead.
that guy was talking about in that video. It's the lack of accountability.
So no, I'm right there with you, man. Thank you so much. Let's bring this back in. Let's go.
Even in the case where the what's the guy, the Hinton case where the father killed a police officer.
For sure.
I've talked to people on social media who have tried to make the son who got killed by the police, a victim. This dude was in a stolen vehicle, had a gun in his hand, running from the police, came up on another cop and got shot. And they want to make him the victim. And I'm like, he got what his lifestyle and what his actions led to.
Right.
But no, because he's black and because he got killed by the cops, we got to make him a martyr. We got to make him a victim. That is what people are sick of.
All right. We ain't even gonna talk about the statue. We ain't even gonna talk about the statue.
Man.
I refuse to talk about the statue. I ain't talking about that statue yet.
But once again, is in line with the same thing though.
Right. It's on code. It's on code that you would put that mockery of black women up there and expect me to cover for it. Hold on. They might as well just put her up there in bonnets and pajamas too. She might as well have a big old bonnet. Because I'm not going. They want you to duck and cover for that, Kev. They want you to justify that and say that's art, that's acceptable, that's appropriate representation of the highly melanated woman.
Yep. And once again, like I said, we take things that aren't best and we project them as the picture of the culture. We've done that with single moms.
Come on.
I'm sorry. We got to give single mamas off this pedestal. And I know it's Mother's Day, and I don't mean it.
Bro, boy, look, I don't know, Kevin.
I'm just saying we can't glorify certain things, then wonder why we keep getting more of it.
Come on. Let's go.
I'm just saying, at some point, we got to stop glorifying this stuff.
Boy, bro, I'm letting you know how when you're boiling in the kitchen and the water start boiling up over the pot, you gotta turn it down, just kind of let it simmer. I gotta let it cool down. I gotta give us, bro. Don't let me bring in the ham and B3 up in here, man. We're cooking tonight. Let's go.
And I'm in it. I'm nothing but black. I'm nothing but black American. That's it. That's all I am. That's all I've ever been. That's all my ancestors have ever been, to my knowledge. And I'm sick. So I know they are.
Black fatigue. We might need a therapist in the house. Anybody out there with psychology? Because I was wondering why I'm so amped. I'm amped lately. I'm happy. Life is good. But I got this underlying resentment, pistivity. It's black fatigue, right? Everybody got it. Blacks got it. Whites got it. Hell, even Hispanics and Asians got it. We're like freaking tired of blacks complaining, blacks whining about this, that, and the other, blacks being woke, the DEI. Yeah, it's black fatigue.
I am in no ways justifying this. Y'all have seen this Pierce Morgan discussion with Marlon from Fresh and Fit and Mark Lamont Hill.
Hill.
Yeah. And then these two white women. I'm not the white woman right here that's using the N-word. Y'all saw this one, so everybody's seen this one. But Mark Lamont Hill, when you saw him in here,
oh my goodness,
bro, that was some high level femininity right there. That was some high level beta maleism right there, thinking he was gonna get some kind of participation trophy for acting ridiculous. No, the woman shouldn't use it, but Mark Lamont Hill is not a superhero because he was over here crying about how he was a victim. Sir, it is a word. Stop it.
Weak-minded. If you want to see what weak-mindedness looks like, that's what it looks like.
Absolutely.
But before you hit play, to go back to the last gentleman's point about the complaining, people are tired of the whining, man. People are sick and tired of whining and complaining. But this is the thing. If you go back to the civil rights movement, I'm not going down that route. I'm not going Chad on them.
You ain't going Chad? Okay.
I'm not going to go Chad on them. I'm just going to point out something about the civil rights movement.
For sure.
The civil rights movement was successful in terms of changing legislation and things like that.
Okay, that's fair.
But what it taught us was that our grievance was our power, right?
Yeah.
And instead of building upon the opportunities that we've had since then, we have spent the last 60 years ensuring we don't lose our grievance, because our grievance is our power, right?
Come on.
And that's what people are sick of. We've run out of it. The grievance game has just run out, and nobody cares anymore. Nobody's taking, responsibility for us anymore. And this is what I'll say too. You say I always choose violence. I'm going to choose violence.
You know what? Let's big screen the violence. Let's big screen the violence. Here, you want your solo screen? You can just go to war. Go to war, Kev.
Play this. I was thinking, for me, if I was white, right? If you're going to make white people responsible for our outcomes or lack of outcomes, if I'm responsible for something, then I'm gonna control it. Like, I'm gonna be in charge of it. If you're gonna make me in charge of your lack of outcomes, then you can't be self-governing no more. I got to be in charge of you, because I got to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're going to play the victim game all the time and you're going to blame someone else for your lack of success, then you have basically handed yourself over to them and says that you are no longer allowed to self-govern yourself, because you can't be trusted to do what you need to do.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to have to, come on. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to do it. But we got to, man. We got to open up the doors of this church, man. Come on. We're gonna get
early Sunday morning.
Oh, that was harsh, man.
It's just real.
That was rough.
Right, that was good. If I'm gonna get blamed for something, if I'm gonna get blamed for your bad outcomes, then okay, I'm gonna take control of it, and I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You can't be in charge of yourself, because apparently you can't handle responsibility, and I gotta treat you like a child. So if we want to be treated like children, keep blaming other people for our own lack of success, or our own lack of outcomes, or our lack of getting married, and all our issues and our trauma and all of this nonsense. Keep blaming other folks for it, and the only thing you're doing is saying that you're a child who needs someone to hold your hand to make sure you're behind doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Boy, right there. Kev, you chose intergalactic.
I told you, man, I was thinking about doing a live stream on this, man, because I just wanted to go in, because it's ridiculous.
Let's bring this back in. Let's see if we can successfully get through this video. We're almost there.
Like, blacks complaining, blacks whining about this, that, and the other, blacks being woke, the DEI. Yeah, it's black fatigue.
There was a guest on Pierre Morgan, and he was talking to another black supremacist. That's what we call them. And he said black people don't like living around black people. And I agree with him. I don't like living around black people. Right? They tear up they rob you, they steal from their own neighbor, people close to them. I remember I moved in a neighborhood, I was running for school board, and a black person out of my car was stolen for the first time ever. My Mercedes was stolen. They stole my car, right? When we lived in white areas, never had any problems. We had moved from a mostly Caucasian area. The car never had problems. We could leave the doors open in the car, right? There's a lot of crime in those areas. It's dangerous, right? People getting shot. And this is in all black areas. And it's funny because people will get mad at me for saying this, but the truth of the matter is, as soon as rappers get money, they talk about the hood, but then they move out to around all white people in the gated community. Just like when Carmelo Anthony, that situation happened, where they move around white people. So we are hypocrites. We know we don't want to live around our own people. We know how they are. And so let's stop acting like we don't.
Okay. What you got, Kevin?
Yeah, facts. And it's the hypocrisy, right? Because it's the whole staying on code. If we had been honest about the problems, if we had been honest about the fact that we don't want us to be in those neighborhoods, we don't live there anymore, then you wouldn't have this backlash, because people would recognize and realize that there was kind of like-mindedness among black people with everyone else. But then when you just make George Floyd a hero and Mike Brown and all of these other people, and we stand with this black solidarity, largely driven by the black Afrostocracy, largely driven by the Democrat Party, who we pledged allegiance to. They have led us down this road, and the rest of the country looks at us and go, y'all are full of it. Y'all are full of it. because we know what we see, and yet y'all are still blaming everybody else for it, right?
Man.
And so what I've been trying to explain to these folks online is that, look, the vast majority of Black people don't live in the quote unquote Black community. We just don't.
Correct.
Most Black people do not live in the inner city anymore. We all did better for ourselves and we got out. And so we're spread out in suburban and rural areas amongst everyone else. And so what is left in the inner city is the concentration of poverty, is the concentration of street culture, right? It's no different than, and they got mad at me for saying this, but it's no different than Appalachia, right? The difference is Black poors are living in the city where the cameras are, where the police are, where all it's highlighted.
Facts.
Don't nobody know what's going on in Appalachia because ain't nobody going there.
Nobody going there, right?
Right.
And let me also add, white people don't elevate their Appalachia like we elevate our projects. But I don't know any white person, and I live next door to white people. I tell you all the time, I got 2 white neighbors on both sides and one right in front of me. Not one of them is out there elevating what goes on in that trailer park. And I'm assuming that, trailer park stuff goes on in that trailer park. Picking run-of-the-mill Black person, and they pretend like they live south of 20 here in Atlanta, but they don't.
Yep.
We don't even live out. We live outside the perimeter.
Because it's what it means to be Black, what it means to be real.
Come on now.
Here's the thing, man. We argue and brag about how hard our hood was. We brag about how dangerous our communities were. And we boast about it. That's a good thing, right? It is such a disconnect. The things we value, the things we uplift, the things that make representative of who we are. That is what has been completely backwards, And like Ms. Graves said, it's a small percentage of Blacks. It is, but it's what gets propped up as the culture.
Right. Because when we say, for example, if we say, what is Black culture? Most of y'all going to come up with bonnets and pajamas and slides. Well before you come up with highly educated lawyers, doctors, and engineers, you're going to probably say bonnets and pajamas.
Prime example.
Go ahead.
Prime example. What is Black culture? Look at Jasmine Crockett. And I'm going to be honest, Jasmine Crockett is putting on an act. That is not who she is.
That is not. No.
But why is she pitting on that act? Because that is what it seems to be, what it means to be Black. If she didn't do that, she wouldn't be real. Oh, Jasmine, keep it real. Jasmine from the streets. Jasmine this. And we uplift that. We uplift ratchetness, even in Congress.
Even in Congress.
It's like, man, we got to stop doing that because the outside world is looking in and the grift is no longer working.
But again, we're making a point here that I feel that for years of quote unquote white fragility have now swung the pendulum back where people are tired of it. People have, all these people who embraced white supremacy, Black Lives Matters, all those kind of shenanigans, and allowed you to call them racist for basically 4 years without any pushback. Now they say, hold on, wait, hold on now. I might be a little bit tired of this. And they are going in another direction. Now, again, I do not approve of being disparaging to any people group, hence why I do my very best not to use the N-word, even amongst my friends, and such an nature. But I do believe that, as you said earlier, Kevin, holding each other accountable. And we've had these conversations before. Willie Doc, my brother, shout out to Willie Doc in the chat. We've had these conversations of holding one another accountable, making sure that you're doing the right things, because we should be doing those right things as men who profess to be Christian. So we don't even have to make it like a Christian argument, but I believe that ultimately is Kevin's foundation, mine as well, where my Christian faith requires me to behave differently, because the culture is, we see what the culture is doing, and how's that been working out for us? Not so well. All right, let me bring this in. Let's finish this one up.
Yeah.
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of Black people, but it's 2 specific types of Black people that everyone is tired of. Number one, everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public. You know when they're going to give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it, and they want to avoid it. The second group of black people that everybody is tired of is this sort of like fake black bougie intelligentsia who kind of like walks around telling everybody how they're supposed to think or speak or act when it comes to anything black. These are the most privileged black people in the world. These people have built enormous platforms and have so much money, and yet they are still perpetual victims all the time. And all they ever do is lecture white people about how to talk to or about black people, and then they lecture other black people if they don't talk or think or speak in ways in which they approve. Black fatigue is real. Everybody is so tired of both of these groups of black people that they don't know what to do. So yeah, black fatigue is real, and I got it.
These people aren't racist. They are tired. Black fatigue.
I forgot there was another one at the end. I apologize. All right, do you want to add anything to it? Do you agree, or what do you think, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, he was cooking. He was basically saying what I was saying, the Afrostocracy, the black Afrostocracy, man. So this is the way it works, man. The elite blacks use the plight of the ghetto blacks to push their own careers and their own agendas, right?
Okay.
George Floyd got murdered, therefore I should be the president of Harvard, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a
logic jump.
It is, but
that's a logic jump.
That's how DEI worked, right?
Yeah,
George
absolutely.
Floyd happened, and then black people who were already privileged and well off got put in higher positions, right? Because all of a sudden we had to put black people in power. So who's benefiting from this? It is the people who are already in the elites and already doing well. The George Floyds of the world, the people in the streets, didn't benefit from none of that stuff, right?
Thanks.
And so that's what he's talking about. These two different groups that kind of one is taking advantage of the other. And they like to keep the ghetto culture in its place. They like to project it. And they like it when George Floyd gets killed, right? Because now Al Sharpton can go and get in front of the cameras, right? They want these people living this degenerate life so that they can then prop it up and benefit off of it through white guilt. But the issue is the white guilt is running out. Like,
there we go. Okay.
And people are just tired of it now. And it's like, okay, so what are y'all going to do now? The grift is over. What's next? What's next? Civil rights movement leaders, Dr. King minions. What are y'all going to do now? Y'all have ridden this coattail for 60 years. And with nothing to show for it, what are you going to do now that the grift is over? Because now we got to actually focus on some actual real solutions. Now you got to actually focus on keeping people accountable, right?
Facts.
How long have black mayors and black city councils and black school boards run these cities?
Ooh.
Right?
You mean wait? So you don't support the mayor of Newark, rushing the ICE facility, getting arrested? What's his name? Ras Baraka.
Man, once again, political grandstanding, right?
Boy, that was a mess right there.
Yeah, they just political grandstanding. They're playing politics for the cameras with accomplishing nothing. The kids in your district can't read, sir.
Oh, but they're concerned about the. I'm sure that they're equally concerned about New Jersey residents as they are about the migrants. I'm sure they are, right?
Whatever they can do to get in front of a camera.
They go to school board meetings and get upset about teachers not doing their jobs effectively and kids not being able to read. They do that all the time, man, Kevin. They are always getting arrested and rioting.
They are beholden to the teachers unions. So whatever the teachers unions want, that's what they're going to push. That's what they're going to say because they want the votes of the teachers unions. It's just a game. And the people who are the victims of it, the people who are not benefiting at all, is the people at the bottom who they claim to be helping and be representing and be for. They don't care. That's why they fight school choice, right? They don't want these kids to get better. They don't want these kids to help. No, they want this constant cycle of debauchery, and so they can keep benefiting off of it.
But no, man, I think you're right on the money, right on the button. That we have the we got the Oprahs, we got the Whoopi Goldbergs, we got the Jasmine Crockett's, Cory Booker's, telling us how terrible it is, and it's such a nature. But on the same note, we got the degenerate we got the bonnets and pajamas and slide mafia, and they are playing off of one another. They are utilizing one another. I don't know how the bonnet mafia uses Jasmine, but Jasmine is a spokesperson for the bonnet mafia.
Yeah.
And when the smoke clears, they are holding the middle to code or in line, and it's such like that. Like, we can't speak against this and say that's wrong and that's wrong. But I think it's fair to say that we're done
when
with
you
this.
do, you consider, you're not black or you're not down for the cause, and so yeah, they hold people captive with the threat of basic banishment. You go be uninvited from the cookout.
You know what? I was going to do this show from my grill. I was going to live stream from my grill. I don't care about you cooking. I cook phenomenally. I don't care. You're not cooking. You're not kicking me out of the cookout. I am the cookout. Okay. I can smoke out my entire neighborhood. My door will be knocking, doorbell be ringing all afternoon. I do not care. You ain't cooking me. You ain't kicking me out of the cookout. And I'll tell you again, I'm a proud alumni. You ain't kicking me out of my alma mater either. So kick rocks. You're gonna deal with me.
You know what you call when people are afraid to speak their mind or say what they believe is true for fear of being kicked out the group? That's called a cult.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. The black community acts as a cult.
It does.
Because if you dare to step out of line, you ain't black. Clarence Thomas, Ben Carson, you, me.
Yep.
Right. And so they use this group, this fear of being kicked out the group to control what people say, and what people think and believe. That's a cult, man. And
that's a good point.
And black people, when black people wake up and start to walk away from it, they get attacked, right? Because they're trying to pull you back. They're trying to shame you or either make an example of you for others, right?
Great
so when we talk about, you want to talk about slave masters, you want to talk about people working for the man. It's the black folks that will whoop the other black person for actually speaking the truth. Because how dare you get out of line? How dare you try to leave the Democrat plantation, right? And so yeah, it's a cult, and they're the ones who are really holding people back with this fake group thing. And the reason why black people aren't allowed to have their own ideas, think for themselves, is because the black community acts as a cult. I mean, that montage was spot on, and I've been seeing it all over Twitter, or all over X. I've been responding to people, trying to give them a proper understanding of what they're seeing is not a representation, or looking at the inner city black communities and thinking that is what black people are. Like, no, you're still seeing a minority of the population. Most of us don't live there no more, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's like I said, it's just like if you just put a camera in the trailer park, you put a camera in Appalachia and recorded all of their white trash, shenanigans. People are like, man, these white people, but the fact is, no one picks a camera there. Nobody highlights that stuff. Whereas the black community is in the inner city, is in the heart of everything. It's where all the news cameras are. It's where, and then, like I said, and then we got the issue of the fact that we glorified that culture to begin with, unlike other communities who don't glorify the degeneracy in their culture.
I've never heard a white person less melanin, have to justify why they don't live in a trailer park. But we have to give excuses and explain. And no, I go down there and pay. I go down there to the package store every couple of months. We got to explain why we don't live there. I don't live there. I ain't been living there. Says I'm sorry. Let's just tell the truth, man. The community glorifies felonious behavior. I agree right there. Shout out to that. I think we can make an argument. The argument can be made that individuals like Sexy Red and these debased artists and such. Who's that? There's that rapper, female rapper, starts with a D, Dolce, whatever. She won a whole bunch of Grammys this year, and everybody's like, well, what song did she sing?
Yeah.
We could argue that, this is being planted on the community.
Oh, it is.
Let me also just add that it wouldn't attract if there wasn't something that in you or in our community that appealed to that foolishness. I mean, like, why does it not repel? Why are we not repelled by it? Why are we not in uproar? Like, no, that's not what the imagery of Black women or the imagery of Black households. Why are we not repelled by it? Why do we even allow it to even exist and not raise our voices to the high heavens and rebel? Like, no, this is not acceptable. Yeah. Because there's something in us that appeals to that foolishness, and we allow it. Yeah. And so the Sexy Reds and the other foolishness like that, we like that debaseness to some degree. Tell the truth, shame the devil. And so we're not willing to say and get off code or get out of line or risk getting your Black card pulled or not being invited to the cookout and say, nah, that's not acceptable. That's not us. Yeah. Y'all sit there and sing the song, they not like us, but you sitting there accepting stuff that you allege is not like you, but it is. By us holding each other accountable. And that's the thing I think what I'm getting from watching this Black fatigue, and I hope it stays, man. I hope it stays. I hope that the Black fatigue becomes, if you've been affected by Black fatigue, you might need accountability. Please see your doctor. Please see the scriptures for further details. But warning, accountability may lead to. That will be funny. Yeah, that will be funny. We got to work on that one. Accountability may lead to doing something about your communities. But no, I hope it remains. I hope it becomes, I hope it remains, and I hope it remains a burr in our saddle till we stop embracing the foolishness. And we've seen it. And again, the lack of accountability amongst us. And it really what it is a lot of us, the highly melanated, those who don't live in the hood, those who do not participate in that, are not willing to and are not able to say this is wrong, that's wrong amongst ourselves. So then as you said earlier in the beginning, you said the less melanated don't want us to be lying. They're tired of lying, and we're basically lying to them. You don't love somebody if you lie to them and let them continue in something that's going to hurt and harm them. And so this is it. We're lying to ourselves. Yeah. And they're watching it. They're watching everybody lie to themselves. So now look where we are. Go ahead.
And I'll say this about a lot of our melanated brothers and sisters. They spend, and the reason, and it's the reason we can't be honest. It's the reason we have to stay on code. You stay on code because you're overly concerned about what white people think.
Facts.
Right. And so instead of being honest and telling the truth, you stay on code and you run cover for this type of mess.
I think we're concerned about the way Black people think about us. Like, for example, like think about it. The reason I won't call, let's say you're misbehaving, you're embracing degenerate behavior. The reason I don't want to call you out is because I don't want you to say that I'm off code. Yeah. That I'm
you're the sellout.
Uncle Tom. I'm a sellout. Yeah. Fill in the blank, whatever pejorative you want to use. And you gonna kick me. You gonna take my Black card. Yeah. You ain't gonna let me come to the cookout. Yeah. Oh no. Well, I gotta. Okay, Kevin. It's okay that you debase. It's okay that you have a that you're embracing debauchery. I can't speak on it. It really is nothing. It's really intra-ethnic or intra-racial issue. It really got nothing to do with white people. We keep bringing white people into it to deflect from the fact that, so we'll say, hey, the reason Lil Ray Ray got 9 baby mamas and 17 kids is because of Jim Crow. The reason Shaniqua walk around the airport in bonnets and pajamas and slides, cussing people out, raising all kinds of cane, is because of slavery. We bring white people into it when really this is a very Black problem. A very highly melanated problem. And we introduce white people into it. And they're like, what are you talking about? I ain't gonna do with this. It's white fragility. See, now that's white fragility. And it takes the cover off of, or takes the attention off of the fact that you in bonnets and pajamas in Lenox Mall acting a fool.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It wouldn't be an us issue if we didn't make it an us issue. right? If we didn't say, nah, that's them.
Oh, facts.
Okay, but we have run cover.
Gotcha.
We have said, no, like you said, the plight of the struggle of the Black community is, it's look at our schools aren't funded properly. We come up with all these excuses to what they are doing to us to cause this problem in our community.
Facts.
Right. And folks just tired of it. And there's no accountability to it. And so now that we have run cover, and I say I'm speaking broad general.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Then we got to own all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Because if we had because white people ain't looking at the trailer park in Appalachia and saying, man, we really got to fix our community. They're like, no, that's them.
It's on them.
that's not us. But we have identified that as us.
Successful Black people owe their hood and community. How do I owe you anything?
No.
See, isn't that interesting? Instead of saying, because I think you can see the visual that you've risen to a certain level and you must come down to this level, not the hood must come up or the hood must attract you, or we must do something with the hood so they'll attract you back to none of that nature. That is always those who, instead of us making an attempt to raise ourselves up, it's always you must come down to this, and that's no way.
And the hood, that's the thing, the hood didn't make me. I had to survive the hood. My mom had to pray over me to make sure I survived and I didn't succumb to the circumstances around me, right? I mean, I had a gun pulled on me when I was 12 years old. I could not be here today.
Wow.
Right? And so no, I don't need to credit nothing
except Christ. Let me say that.
Exactly.
Hey, I like this comment right here, the collectivism, because that's another thing. Also, you hear a lot about the hood or the community as if there's just one monolith, which is insane.
Exactly.
Which is insane. But you don't hear that in many other people groups
where they have the culture,
right? The culture, the community, the barrio, the whatever. But we have this collectivism. Shout out to Mrs. Graves. Shout out to that. Thank you. Very keen observation. That nobody else really does it like that. Now, I'm sure there are. I'm not saying that in some borough of New York, there's not a group of people that consider themselves the community. I got you. But as a whole, pretty much from the East Coast to the West Coast,
white people don't talk like that. They don't talk about the white community. White people aren't collectivists at all. They don't. Like, white people don't make decisions based on what's good for white people. They make decisions based on good for what's them and their family and their circle. That's it. Like, they're not looking at some broader white community that they got to stand up for. That's not how they think. That's how we think. And I say it on Off Code all the time, and I'll say it here. And we don't have time to dive into it, but that collectivist piece, I say this, in many ways, to be Black in America is to be Marxist.
Well, I just wanted to bring this in because I knew you were going there. But look what in layman terminology
I
just
didn't
said.
see that.
Black people practice socialism. If you make it out of the hood, you got to give back according to their ideology.
Facts. And it's the thing, they wouldn't know it's Marxism. They don't understand how West has shaped their thinking. But in many ways, what we call Blackness, or what we say what it means to be Black, because remember, Black ain't a skin color, Black is to be political. Black is a culture, is a way of thinking, is a way of seeing the world. And if you don't see the world in that way, they say you ain't Black. Correct. So in many ways, what we say, what it means to be Black is really just what it means to be Marxist, because that is what has shaped our framework and we just don't know it.
Absolutely. Shout out to the future. That makes zero sense. Why wouldn't you celebrate people being successful? You have to change your mindset. Stop looking at people and wanting them to be miserable because they have or are doing more than you. I've said this before, that most of us embrace a grievance gospel. And really, it's a 10th commandment violation. I see what Kevin has and I want what Kevin has. That's really it. If you want to boil down the last 5 years of American society, it is the 10th commandment violation and a grievance gospel. That's all it is. I want what you have.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep complaining until I get it. That's it. There's really no other way around it.
That's all wokeness is. That's all it is. It's just envy.
Yeah,
covetousness.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a 10th commandment violation on wholesale on steroids. That's all it is. So let me finish up because Future said this: seeing someone doing well and wanting them to lose their success says nothing about them and everything about you. Amen. And what does it say about you? That you violate the 10th commandment, that you're greedy and envious. That's it.
What Thomas Sowell said, he said envy used to be known as one of the 7 deadly sins, but now it's a great virtue under the name of social justice.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. All right, here we go. I'm gonna bring this in. I'm gonna point out a couple things. All right. Y'all have seen this. I know y'all have seen this. It's
yes.
A bunch of women duking it out at the airport. Bonnets and pajamas, all that kind of stuff like that, slides, all that kind of stuff like that. But I want you might not be able to see it, but I want you to see who is actually posting this video. It's a white person. And this is the problem that we're seeing now, where they are now highlighting this as if this is the proper behavior. And this is all that the highly melanated women do, is go to airports and fight at embark the deportation ports for cruise ships.
So if we don't start holding this type of behavior accountable, this is what all of us gonna be painted as.
Right. This has to stop. I don't want to play it. I mean, this kind of stuff right here. This is what they think is This is what they think when they say the culture. This is what they're talking about. They want us to give duck and cover to this. This woman's banging that woman's head on the car, a moving car. But see, this is what they're talking about. When they say the culture, this is what they expect us to defend. And if we say something about this, like, no, this is inappropriate, y'all out here misrepresenting us.
It's not that we have to stop it, because people are gonna do what people got to do. We have to speak up about it. We have to speak up out against it, because otherwise people think that this is just what we do.
And they need to hear Kevin. They need to hear me and Monique and April and all the others that speak against us. No, this ain't. I don't know who this is. Insert the they not like us if you want to. They not like us, because I ain't giving no duck and cover. My children don't behave like that. My wife don't behave like that.
You know, I stopped listening to secular music, hip hop 20 years ago. Not Like Us was the first Kendrick Lamar song I ever heard.
I hadn't, and I still don't understand it. So I hadn't heard that either. Truthfully, I can't understand it. So I don't know what you're talking about. This is a problem I think that the highly melanated Black people must deal with. It doesn't require the input or the help of any other people group. Black folk need to we need to come on up here to the front of the church. Come on up here. All of us, come on up here and let's go ahead and deal with this issue. We don't need it, but because when we bring in other people, it deflects from us actually dealing with it. So when like, for example, why y'all upset about Shiloh calling that little boy the N-word? Let's be honest. Why y'all upset about it? Because y'all do it. And don't give me that hard R and A ignorance.
Because we use the hard R too.
We do it too. So why are we upset about that white woman doing it? I'll listen. That's what I'm saying. So how about this? Let's do this. How about we stop giving duck and cover? If the word is a problem, stop using it.
Yep. I mean, I don't use it. Yeah, and I don't. But we know the people who are upset are using, and we use it in a derogatory way.
And please, and then watch this. But on the same note, Black folks, stop acting like the word is going to, like, it killed you.
Like Mark Lamont Hill.
Right. Mark Lamont Hill was over there crying that Pierce Morgan told that blonde chick to say the N-word. And he crying, like literal tears.
And this thing, he just told her, he said, just say it. Just say the word. And Mark Lamont Hill said that he would be the victim of it. Like, it touched his ears and he became a victim.
Right. Like, can we stop that? Like that right there is because I guarantee you Mark Lamont Hill had no problem saying the N-word in any other context. So stop it. So it's a both and. Black folk need to stop acting like it's killing them. Like it's a murder. Stop it. And white folk and other people groups just don't do it. But Black folk over here need to stop doing it too. Like, just stop it.
Yeah, how about
it? Don't make sense. How about we just stop using it?
How about we hold everybody to the same standards?
Or how about if you want to say, okay, no, we can use the black word, the N-word, then everybody can use it, then you can't act a fool.
Same
That's
standard.
it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Just it's got to be both and. Like we either everybody can say it or nobody can say it. But stop acting, and then also just stop acting like a bunch of children about it.
Or I'm gonna go further because this is something what I said off code. If you're going to be upset that white people are looking at black folks and making derogatory comments about them, then you got to stop making derogatory comments about white folks. Because we do.
Hold on.
Because we do. And we got to stop acting like we don't sit around and talk about white people.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
Oh, man. Wait. Hold on. What? Come on, Kevin. You can't be doing that, man.
All I'm saying is the double standard needs to stop. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But we do one thing and then we clutch our pearls the other way. It's like, nah, let's just stop.
Just stop
doing that. Yeah.
I agree.
What did he say?
I agree 100%. You cooking now, man. You cooking, even though you got our kitchen all hot and all that stuff. You cooking. What's that?
They got the grease popping.
The grease is popping, my guy. Absolutely. No, you're 100% correct. But again, I think this is a conversation that the highly melanated, those who profess to be black, whatever your deal is, we need to have that conversation and deal with our community and not try to drag other people into it. Because I think people will try to drag Shiloh into it and try to drag these. These are some true racist, eugenicists, racists on X and other platforms that are saying some pretty bombastic things. They're trying to drag them into the conversation. They're not trying to help. They're not being helpful. They are the extremes of just insanity. So y'all go over there. Maybe y'all people deal with them. But we need to deal with the fact, why we bought in pajama and on the doggone cruise ship? Why are we doing this? Why is Spirit Air known to be the soul plane of 2025? Why is that?
I witnessed that firsthand today.
What'd you fly?
I flew Delta.
Oh my God!
But Spirit was boarding at the terminal next to us.
Oh, then yeah.
Bro, it was an experience. It was an experience.
No, I can imagine. I mean, my brother flies on it. I don't understand. Like James, I don't understand that, James. I might not get there as fast as you. I might not. You'll have more money when I get there, but I might have peace in the Middle East because I'm not gonna have violence.
What color? What color is Spirit? What's their colors?
Black and gold or something?
Yeah, black and
black and gold.
Yeah, that black and yellow.
Black and yellow. Okay.
Yeah, what's Waffle House colors?
Boy, if you don't.
What's Dollar General's colors?
Dude, why are you saying these things?
It's all the same.
It is, okay, man. Yeah, yellow and black.
It's the same energy, man. Waffle House, Spirit is the Waffle House of airlines, man. It is the Dollar General of airlines.
Not the Dollar General of airlines?
Yes.
Boy, you gonna man, Kevin, you choosing a lot of violence today, Kevin.
I'm just saying it's the same energy.
I cannot give you duck and
It's
cover.
the same energy.
That dude said,
I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying you better know what it is. It's Waffle House, bro.
You said it's the Waffle House of the air. That was I had never thought of that. Okay, yeah. Okay, Kevin, how long you been thinking about that, man? You've been saving that one.
It hit me today.
You've been saving that one, bro. That was
at
good.
The airport, as I saw firsthand Spirit customers and their employees handling, it was chaos. Dude, it was straight chaos. And then Spirit flight got delayed. And they say, everybody be back. We're gonna
Oh, not everybody be back.
Well, no, they just said, hey, the new time is 1:00. That's our new time. So some people left, you go get something to eat, whatever. You come back. Well, I guess Spirit got the word and it was like, oh, we can board. And so by 1:00, that plane was gone. And so when people showed up, was like,
boy, stop it.
They was like, oh, we gone. They gone.
You lying.
There was no message that went out to people. There was no alert, no app. Like people that came back.
Stop
and they were like, oh, we gone. Yeah. They told those people 1:00.
Kevin, bruh.
Yeah. And then they said, oh, that was just a projected time.
Kevin. Wow. I didn't know, bro. I didn't know Spirit got down like that.
Oh, bro. And the thing is, they weren't mean about it. They were very nice about it. But it's the fact that it's like, you didn't think there was nothing wrong with that?
Yo, I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, they left those folks.
Like I said, man, my brother loves Spirit. I'm like, bruh, I said, I can love the Spirit, but I am not going to be on Spirit Airline. Now that I got the Waffle House of the air in my mind, no, sir. The Dollar General of Hartsville Jackson, no, ma'am, I will not be there.
Hey, it's tempting, man, because when you look at those prices, you're like, man, I can get.
Bro, don't they charge you, man, for wearing a pants? Don't they got like charge you for wearing glasses, man? And if you got the bifocal situation, you get an extra charge, man. No, sir, no, ma'am. I'm not. Look, I paid $35 for this ticket. I'm gonna give you $35.
So you had two women at the desk, and there was a dude, there was a guy, his name was Clarence, and Clarence's job was to like line everybody up and make it orderly. And they told him, hey, we about to board, and they say Clarence about to regulate that thing.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Clarence's job was to get everybody in line and keep it orderly, and it was not though. It was not. Clarence was not doing his job very well. But it's just a different fight. It is the soul plane. It is soul plane.
It is soul plane.
Yes.
Look. But and now look who done popped in there. Look at his colors. Look at his colors.
Oh,
look at his colors.
Hey, K-Dub.
K-Dub
you got that spirit energy.
He got that spirit energy. Shout out to Chris from All Things Theology. What's up, brother? Hold on. I'm gonna drop the link. Chris, we might need you to come on here, man. You need to come here and defend yourself, Chris. Don't let them do you like that, man. Don't let them do you like that.
You the one that pointed it out.
I was looking because I have his logo over here. I'm like, wait, his is yellow and black too. And then he popped in. So, Chris, you're gonna have to jump in, man. You're gonna have to defend your honor, man. He debasing All Things Theology. And I thought
it only makes sense we landed on Spirit Airlines.
That's true. Okay, but hold on, man. Frontier, Frontier been getting that smoke. I got that video too, man.
Oh.
Remember Frontier, I heard is like I heard they trying to become the Spirit Airline.
Yeah, 100%.
Where's that video? I got that video too. That was pretty wild, man. Like, where is it? I don't think I got it.
The two girls at the desk.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I know what you're talking about.
I know. Okay, I thought I had it. I don't have it. Never mind. I do have that. I got that 12-foot tall statue in New York, though. We do not. Oh, my word. We just going to take down everything tonight, man. We going to get in trouble one way or another. We going forward tonight. Oh, my gosh. But no, I agree with you, man. We would have landed on Spirit, or we would have landed on Carnival.
Oh, bro.
We would have landed on Carnival.
I can't do the Ratchet Cruise thing, man.
Bro.
No.
I pray they never come to
on
Royal.
The ship.
I pray they never come to Royal. Never. Because that right there, I will absolutely, I will not be pleased with that at all. I'm trying to find that. Okay, I don't see the video. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Oh, you about the Frontier?
Yeah.
No,
what's Chris saying? Black fatigue. I'm tired. It's true. Well, Chris, I'm telling you, man. Well, Chris, why have you not clicked the link, man? Jump in this link, man, and stop playing. Same thing, Rick. Come on over here, man. I dropped the link for y'all. Get over here. You get what you pay for. I mean, that is true.
It is true. That's why I hadn't done it, and not because of that, not because of the culture or anything like that. I'm a nervous flyer to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't want to fly cheap, because how you flying so cheap? What's your maintenance look like?
Right. like what are you doing differently that, again, like you said, in the same terminal, Delta let's say they're both going to Phoenix. Okay. Delta costs, 175. You cost 75. How in the world is that happening?
Yeah.
Like what's going on here?
Yeah. Like what kind of gas you using?
Not potato fuel.
I didn't know where you cutting costs to make this flight so cheap for everybody.
There's a lot of cost cutting, and I need to know where they're cutting it from. Because we flying in a cigar tube. Yeah, what is the maintenance? Wait, what maintenance? Oh, what maintenance? Thanks, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Black fatigue. I'm tired of being tired. There you go. All right, here we go. All right, he's here to defend his honor. All right, come on, Chris. Don't let him get away with that.
What's going? Hold on, man. Let me. Hold on.
I love you when you're saying don't let them get away with it. When you the one that did it.
I missed the joke. What was the joke? Something about black and yellow.
So we were talking about black fatigue, and somehow or another we just kind of got on Spirit Airline. And Kev made I'm gonna let Kevin go ahead. Kevin, tell him what you said about.
No, I was at the airport today, and I just made an observation about Spirit, and I was like, hey, what's their colors? And he said, no, black and yellow. And I was like, what's Waffle House colors? What's Dollar General's colors? Right? It's the same energy, right? You know, Spirit Airlines is the Waffle House of airlines. It's just you go in there, somebody might get to fighting. You know, it's just the same energy.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and then you popped up with your logo, and DWC was like, "Hey, look at his colors."
It is fitting. It is fitting.
It was funny that you. Literally within like 3 minutes of us saying that, you popped up. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Well, I was here for the black fatigue. I didn't know the black and yellow, so I got the bonus when I came in.
Right, you came for the bonus round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so since you're here,
yeah,
had you heard of this thing called black fatigue?
I have. I've been seeing it for the last couple weeks.
Really?
On, Twitter.
Wow.
And it's so right. I'm seeing a lot of white people openly come out like, "Hey, man, we just tired of black people. We're just tired of y'all. We're going to our enclave, our abode, and we ain't dealing with black people no more." Right. One thing I've seen interesting. I don't know if you guys heard the new Kanye song.
I saw the title of it. I ain't heard it.
It's called. Well, I won't tell y'all what it's called. I won't tell y'all. I mean, it has something to do with Hitler. And
boy,
but what's so he has a line in there that I'm not gonna. I'll sanitize it. What he says, they don't understand what I post on Twitter. N-word, how Hitler. And so there's a lot of Caucasian people like doing like little snippets of that song, and they're saying the N-word. I mean, no shame.
Sure,
I mean, like, and I've seen this interesting dynamic too of like a lot of white people saying that's our word. We're going to reclaim the N-word. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Like I got idiots on the left, I got idiots on the right, and I'm just over here
down world
drinking my coffee. Like all of y'all are idiots.
Can we go back to 1999? Can we just kind of
seriously, man?
Because how we get here?
Wow. Okay, I'm just checking out the song.
I know how we got here, but it's like, yeah, how did we? Like, you still ask the question. Like, you can logically explain something. Yeah. I see how we got here. Woke stuff, like all black people just saying, well, you owe me reparations every week. All y'all white people racist. White people responding, but like, I'm tired of being called racist every week. Fine, I'm just going to do my own thing. But it's like, still, like, how did we get here? But yeah, I've heard of black fatigue in the last couple of weeks. It's just interesting, right?
Right, for sure.
But you know, it's like I kind of want to be like, well, all these woke people, y'all kind of like the problem to this because y'all always talking about y'all tired, right? Black folks tired every week, right? I'm tired of being black. Well, white people said we agree. We tired of y'all being black too, right? And it's just like it's a madness, man. So much more could be said about it because, again, the woke stuff was nonsense, and then I think the reaction to the woke stuff is nonsense. Where you have like a lot of white pastors who are engaging in what I'm calling the gospel of genetics, right? We have the superior genes, right? This eugenics type of things, and again, you had some people arguing this from in the black church that black people are more superior, right? They wouldn't come out in that exact language, but right, we are the chosen people, right? You use all the
Israelites been saying it. Nation Islam been saying it for decades.
You're right. And we're just in this like gospel of genetics where people are just kind of like getting fascinated with this. And I just got on a walk with my wife, and it's like, man, it's unfortunate that this is the fascination, but people don't know the book of Romans, you know? Right. And then we wonder why quote unquote Protestants are leaving to Roman Catholicism. They're leaving to Eastern Orthodoxy. They're leaving the atheism. I mean, because we aren't actually teaching the people what the Bible says and the solution to a problem. I think we all can admit there's a large problem, right? But we aren't giving any kind of solution. And obviously, I know there people are, but in large, right?
In large, you're right. You're right. That's fair. No, I agree with that. Do you agree, Chris, and I don't know where you jumped into the conversation about black fatigue, but white people are fatigued with black people. That's fair. And I'm gonna say they're not fatigued with all black people. They're really fatigued with the bonnets and pajamas mafia, as well as the people that are lecturing. We got the black bourgeoisie that are lecturing white people about how they need to respect the oppressed, quote unquote, crowd. But I think black folk are kind of tired of it too. Let's just tell the truth. I feel comfortable in saying that I'm tired of defending the bonnets and pajama mafia, being lumped in with the shenanigans of the bourgeoisie, having to somebody explain to me about this bronze idol that they done built up in New York, whatever the Nebuchadnezzar they done put up there, and expect that to be a representation of black women. What are you talking about? I know I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all. So I understand the fatigue.
Yeah, we've been saying this, right? I mean, but we just got called Uncle Toms and sellouts for it, right?
Yeah.
So we've been saying about the problem in the black community, right? But we constantly get, oh no, it's actually not as bad as you're saying. And actually the real problem to the black problem is the white problem of racism, right? Mm-hmm. And so we constantly have been battling this battle. It's just now on a larger scale, and unfortunate, it's pagans dealing with this issue, right? It's not even people who are Christians having these topics. So now you're just getting way worse answers and different variants and all that. And so, right. We've been talking about the ghetto people at the cruise ships fighting, looking crazy. You know, that's why I say, like, look, you get what you pay for. Like,
no,
if it's $100 cruise, you might want to, see about that $1,000 cruise.
Right. Stay off of Royal, please.
Yes,
please stay away from Royal.
I guess quickly, what were y'all thoughts about the black fatigue?
You want to go, Kev?
Oh, I mean, we played a montage, and I pretty much just agree with the montage. I agree with the sentiment, and I understand where it came from. And my whole point was, basically, it's in our own hands, right? If we got here because we tried to, we grifted, we played the game so long, the victim game, and now it's just run out. Like nobody cares anymore, and so we got to decide what we're going to do, because if the race card doesn't work anymore, if the grifting game doesn't work anymore, what are the black leaders of the community? What are they going to do now? What are they going to say? So now you got to come up with something that's actually legitimate. Now you got to come up with solutions. Now you got to hold people accountable, right? Because you can't play that card no more because nobody cares. Right. It only works as long as white people felt guilty and were cowering in the corner and be afraid to be called racist. Right. But now that people are just so fed up because they pushed so hard in 2020. Yeah. And so I get it, man, because everybody's tired of it. Because we've been calling it out, and like you said, man, we got called Uncle Toms, we got called this, we got called that for just speaking the truth. But when you don't speak the truth, this is what it leads to, because other people see it. They have eyes, but yet they see the cover up for it. They see the excuse making. They see them being blamed for it. And how long we thought that was going to work is us blaming them for our ratchetness. But then at the same time, we praise our ratchetness. It just didn't make sense, man. And so, the game is over. And so the black community as a whole is going to decide what it wants to do and what it wants to be, because what we've been convinced of for the last 60 years, that everything that happens in our community that's negative is the white man's fault. Mm-hmm. It don't play no more.
Right.
So,
yeah. And I think that's ultimately and we talked about it earlier. That's ultimately the problem I see, is that we keep blaming other people. And Kevin said it earlier. These people, and those are people that you've seen on Twitter and other platforms. They're like, look, well, fine. If I'm going to be held accountable for your behavior, then I'm going to be in control of other aspects as well. I want to be in full complete. And that's where we're seeing the pendulum shift backwards. So ultimately, the truth of the matter is, we must require, it is on us to get our people to see this behavior is not acceptable. And we're not going to get lumped in with you. No, I'm not. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not. I don't do bonnets and pajamas. I'm not going to defend bonnets and pajamas. Y'all want to go fight at the on the cruise dock or get kicked off of the cruise ship like that? Then that's on you. I'm not going to defend that. I don't know nothing about it. So if you haven't seen this is a woman that is on an excursion on a cruise ship. I think she was on a Carnival cruise, and she did not have the band to be on the. She didn't have a wristband to go on the excursion, but she done got herself on the ship, on the pontoon, and they had to drag her off of it. Let me just pull it in real quick, just so. And I think the language is okay. Let me just double check. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Yeah, so she's holding. They can't leave until she gets off.
Right.
Oh, come on, man.
And you're on. And this is the thing I don't get. Like, and we could talk for 2 days about this. You're in another country, acting like, pretending like, treating it like you're in the United States. Maybe they're not required to treat you like you're in the States.
And that's what people got to realize. You know, you got all these videos like black people like, I'm going to go to this country, you know, to escape racism, bro.
Okay.
Please, you think you don't got no rights here? You gonna find out.
You ain't got no rights. Let me finish up because they had to like drag her off of it, and she's not a small woman, and
she's a child.
She looked like the 12. She looked like the 12-foot tall bronze. She looked like that was the model. Like she's the model.
Yeah.
I want to reimburse it. Chris, this sounds like a body cam video.
And look, I don't know if they're gonna show it, but her son is this little boy.
Yeah, he's off the ship. Yeah,
he
off.
starts crying because she's embarrassing in the way she's acting, and he just starts crying because he wants her to get off, and she just won't.
Yeah, and the likelihood, the way they take her off of here, she probably didn't go back on the ship.
Nah.
You do know the cruise ships have jails, right? You know they have a brig, right?
Yep.
Just want y'all to know that.
I ain't embarrassed.
They sitting out there in the sun cooking. They sound like they're in Jamaica. Look at this. Look at this. This behavior is acceptable to her. I would have dropped her off that right there, right where the it's showing.
But like she's so inconsiderate, man.
I mean, how childish do you have to be?
Really?
All right, so
I mean, she's so inconsiderate because, like, yeah, like you said, they can't move the ship till she gets off. So it's like everybody else is suffering for it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's you just ruining everybody's trip.
Yeah, Marshall, that woman right there was nuts.
I think it was nuts. And again, like for us to call that woman out and say that woman is wrong, is two left shoes, we would be called every pejorative that people could come up with, but not deal with the fact that all those black people that she was inconveniencing.
And they were like happy when she got
right.
Off
They was happy when they kicked her off. But I'm like, but we won't deal with it and say that that's inappropriate. Like, where is the Jasmine Crockett's? Where are the black bourgeoisie to say that is unacceptable behavior?
And it's like Kevin said, man. Like the grift is over.
The grift is over. They're not playing with us.
The grift is over, but there's gonna be a fight still because I mean it's people get paid millions of dollars to grift in this rhetoric of systemic oppression and, you know, eyes tied, black, you know, woman, they're out loose stuff. I mean, there's millions of dollars into that. So it's still going to be a fight to maintain. But I do think you're seeing a pendulum swing where I think it's swinging too far, but there's still a recognition that, okay, this is garbage. You're not just going to accuse me of all this, right?
There is another class, and let me just read the quote from his actual book. There's another class of colored people who make business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, the hardships of the Negro race before the public, having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles. And I think that we could all affectionately call that the grift. They have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs. I think that's fair to say. Those are the grievances that we were talking about earlier, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. They get the bag. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose their grievances.
Wow.
They don't want them out the ghetto. They don't want them out the hood. They don't want them to do better. They don't want them to know that they should do better. Why? Because they do not want to lose their jobs.
Wow.
Facts.
Shout out to Booker T. That's why.
Facts.
That's why
I'm reading the biography right now, man.
Absolutely, and it is a powerful biography.
It is great.
It's powerful that this dude died in 1915 and said this. This lets you know how far back this goes. This ain't recent.
Good point. Good catch.
And to that point, Kevin, that's when, the wholesale, in the mind of the black man today, black people were doing so worse.
Yeah.
You would think he would be all like, man, yeah, we need to be fighting for justice, right? All this.
Right.
That's not his speech, although he recognized the evils that happened, right? That was not his grift. It was hard work. It was, hey. And one of the things I've been reading is that, he could have been a politician. He was actually like lobbied, but he was like, man, I actually find myself being more useful to educate black people. And I was just like, man, saw that as very, very good. It was very sacrificial. Like, hey, look, I can make a lot of money being a politician and, but he's like, man, I actually want the betterment of my community. And how he saw that was hard work and education.
Tonight, y'all, thank y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Kevin, I want to say thank you for willingly allowing me to call you 30 minutes before and to have such a great show. Thank you so much for coming through with your insight and wisdom.
Yeah, I appreciate you hitting me up, man. And I'm just glad I was able to do it.
I'm just glad you didn't send me the voicemail, man. You know what? How about this one, Kevin? Give us your solution for black fatigue.
Black accountability. That's it. Okay. It is. I mean, that's the word I would use. Okay, that's one thing. I would say this, so just from a Christian standpoint, is the issue has always been revival. We need a revival in the black community of our I would call it our Christian roots that built our communities, that built our strong communities, that built our strong churches, that built our strong institutions, our universities. We have gone so far away from that, right?
Love it. Yes.
So like when I say accountability, I mean, we got to look in the mirror and say, what have we done? And how did we get here? And we got to look in the mirror and say, what did we lose? What made us strong in the past, right? How did we make it, through slavery and Jim Crow with intact families? How was Booker T able to start doing the things he was doing under the conditions? He was a former slave.
Right.
How was it that slaves were free in 1865 and by the 1920s we got Black Harlem and Black Wall Street? Where did that mindset go? Like, what built it, and then where did it go? And once we answer that question, people ain't gonna like the answer. They're not gonna like the answer. But once we're willing to deal with the truth, and this is the truth, I'm just gonna say it. The civil rights movement took us down the wrong path.
Fair.
Took us down a path of dependency and begging and whining and crying. And we've been doing it ever since. And we lost our drive to build. We lost our independence, and everything became about what the white man owed us. Right. We gotta forget that. Forget reparations. They selling you a lie. They selling you a lie and a dream.
Absolutely.
Forget all of that. And when we do that, then we won't have black fatigue anymore.
I love it. All right, I'm going to give you my suggestion, my remedy. So if you're wondering, okay, what's Kevin? Thank you so much for yours. DWC, what's your remedy for black fatigue? I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking. I'm going to go to Ephesians chapter 4, and I'm really going to submit to you the entire chapter 4. Okay, the entire chapter 4.
Man, and you about to hit it.
I say this all the time. The Headings are not inspired by God, the Holy Spirit, but they're very helpful. Unity in the body of Christ. And right there, that should be enough to whet your appetite to read the whole thing. But I'm just going to read actually a few words of verse 15. Rather, speaking the truth in love. And we have to lovingly tell our brothers and sisters, the bonnet mafia, the black bourgeoisie, that they're wrong. We must be willing to say give the hard truth, that they're wrong. And what you're doing is wrong. As Kevin just said right here, you're promoting a lifestyle of degeneracy. You're promoting a lifestyle of baby mama, broken families, dysfunctionality, and so on and so forth. You're promoting that, and there's nothing good that comes from it. And we must be willing and run the risk of having our black cards pulled and kicked out of the family reunions and not being able to come to the cookout. Those things be danged if we're not going to speak the truth in love. We've not been telling the truth to our brothers and sisters. We've allowed our brothers and sisters to walk around here thinking that they're doing okay, and we've not called them on the carpet. We've not said, hey, bonnet mafia, slides, and pajama crew, that's not acceptable, and hold them accountable to it. So my admonishment to you is to read all of Ephesians chapter 4, and really 1 through, just read the whole chapter. Chapter 4 is just for you, but really focus in on the unity of the body of Christ. I don't think that you'll walk away from that feeling that you're not supposed to speak to, and again, do it in love. You ain't got to come off the top rope. You ain't got to be bombastic and crazy, but speak the truth in love, especially if you're the highly melanated, because we've got to start doing something about this, because black fatigue is going to turn into, I don't know what the next phase of it is, because y'all had white fragility. They let y'all get away with it. Then they gave y'all white privilege. Now they got black fatigue, and I don't know what the next phase is, but it seems like it's going to be pretty bad. We need to start dealing something with our own in-house. Yeah. What you got, Kevin?
Yeah, no, I thought you was going to go down to the end of it, because to me, that's a big thing too, about letting go of all bitterness and all wrath and anger and clamor and slander and put away from you, along with malice. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons the black community has been hoodwinked for so long is because they keep us angry. They keep us riled up with bitterness, right? We're constantly bitter and angry about the past. We're constantly bitter and angry at white people about the past. And the reason we can't move on, and the reason all of this stuff continues to work on us, they continue to manipulate us, is because we are filled with bitterness and wrath and anger. And until we let that go, we're going to still stay in this position trying to march and trying to get back at white folks. Because it's very clear at this point, we do not want equality. We want advantages, and we want white people to suffer as we suffered. We want vengeance.
Yes.
Right. And as long as we keep with that heart and that bitterness that even our grandparents and great grandparents didn't have. Right. They did not have that bitterness. That bitterness was rooted and brought into us and made us very discontent during a time where people wanted us to get out and march and be activists and be angry. Mm-hmm. That was not those who came before us. And so that just needs to be pointed out. And so, yeah.
No, I love it, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yep.
I appreciate you're right. So again, read all of Ephesians 4. I mean, really just take the time, read through it slow, but I think you will be benefited and blessed by it for sure. All right, Kevin. Thank you, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
You. No problem, man. Grace and peace, friend.